Welcome back to HGC North America, and I do believe I smell another great match coming our way. No Tomorrow is going to go up against one of NA's finest, HeroesHearth Esports.
Yeah, you know, a lot of good fellows on this team, and I think that we're going to see.
Both sides.
Yeah, both sides. But I think for HeroesHearth coming into this matchup, they are the clear favorite. They are the #1 team in North America. They have been conceivably for a while outside of the midseason brawl performance for Tempo. But they, in league play, they are the #1 team for quite a while. No Tomorrow still finding their ground, have had strong starts to every single series they've been in. HeroesHearth has had slow starts to a lot of their games.
Yes.
So it is something that if No Tomorrow, if they can come out hot like we've seen them do before, then maybe they could catch HeroesHearth off guard. But this is HeroesHearth's chance to say, hey, look, we're the top team. We're going to come out. We're going to dominate. They got to show it. The same way we're kind of expecting Octalysis to pick up that pace. I think it's HeroesHearth's turn.
Jihan, did you read my notes? Because that's pretty much everything I had about this one. We're going to get into that and more analysis soon. No, that was great. But what I did want to mention is that with Tempo Storm winning their series yesterday, if HeroesHearth wants to keep the momentum and keep caught up with Tempo Storm as we head into the match between these two titans next week, then of course they're going to need a win here. Now, Tempo Storm has their next match tomorrow, and HeroesHearth Esports only has the one this weekend, so that's something to keep in mind as we keep looking at the standings. HeroesHearth is more backloaded series, a number of series, but still, it's one that HeroesHearth, like you said, needs to be looking for dominance. And one thing that McIntyre talked about is maybe respecting their scaling comps a lot more. And regardless, I feel like with how easy it was for Octalysis to get an early game lead versus HeroesHearth, had Octalysis been able to close those out, it would have been scarier for HeroesHearth, and that's something that HeroesHearth does need to shore up, however it is, leading into the Western Clash.
You say scaling, and all I can think about was the last time I saw No Tomorrow. They scaled.
They tried with a Nazebo and a Probius. The problem was
keeping them alive?
Yes, they needed to not die, as Lutano said.
That's generally the #1. If there's one tip you could ever give to anybody playing Heroes of the Storm, the #1 thing you should always focus on.
Don't die.
Don't die. That's it.
Well, that one was especially hard, but it's going to be an especially hard series, to say the least, for No Tomorrow. Let's hear from No Tomorrow and HeroesHearth about this one.
Well, I think HeroesHearth looks really strong right now, which I'm very happy to see. I actually feel like McIntyre has had a huge impact in that team's success. I think his offlane play has been some of the strongest in the league by far. Obviously, this is a match that we go into, you know, with no expectation to come out with a victory, but at the same time, I think it's a good match for us to come in and just try and perform to the level that we perform in scrims and try and focus on that aspect of our game. And even if we lose, if we can play up to what I believe is our potential, then I'll be happy.
I mean, I think No Tomorrow, the team is going to probably just try and improve and maybe avoid Crucible, but I don't know if they'll be able to do that. I think they definitely know we're a lot better of a team than them, so they may try to cheese us, so we might have to use some of our second bans to try and avoid getting overly cheesed. But I think even if they try to cheese us, we'll be prepared for it.
Short and sweet. For HeroesHearth, we talked about wanting to make sure that they could, you know, not lose the early game as hard if they are going into these scaling comps, so that they don't fall behind teams that are internationally, you know, the Western Clash, going to make it a lot harder to make those comebacks happen. Now, for No Tomorrow, I want them to make opportunities for themselves. They've shown actually pretty good punishment when people overstep. But it's one thing to expect those mistakes to happen. It's another to be able to create those. And that's what I'd like to see from No Tomorrow.
Do it once and it's good, but getting a kill in the game has been tough. And I think once you get one, you got to get more, and you got to make plays happen, I think is what you're talking about. The one thing they have done well is play their double global comp pretty well, I think, especially when we look at Dragonshire. So there are things that we know have worked for them, including pushing Tempo Storm to the brink and then coming back again and getting a win for themselves. So there are things that are working for them. It's just finding more things that will work for them so they do have better chances in these series. I want to go back to BBJ's interview talking about how he doesn't want to get cheesed by this comp. I want to take him back to the playoffs and Mr. We play double support or solo
no
support Abathur in all 5 games to qualify for midseason brawl. He's got room. He doesn't have any room to talk.
Yeah, but that is so not Heroes Hearth.
Not
now.
anymore.
Not anymore. But yeah, you're right. You make a good point. We're going to Volskaya Foundry for Game 1, chosen by HeroesHearth Esports, though. This used to be No Tomorrow's ban. They've been switching it up somewhat, and they have been banning Tomb a lot more. They're going to keep with that. Actually, it's been Braxis that they've been banning. I was thinking of a different team. They're going to ban Tomb, which has been a pick for HeroesHearth in the past. What was the other ban? I didn't see it.
Cursed Hollow, which is a map that No Tomorrow does have a win on.
Yeah.
And so it is something that clearly targeted towards them. And so HeroesHearth definitely keeping up their trend of banning out. We've seen Infernal Shrines twice and Cursed Hollow banned out against LFM. So when it comes to LFM and the likes of No Tomorrow, it seems like they want to take away that element of Cursed Hollow with the double boss potential, the tribute. You can also get away with some of those extra spicy strats.
Yeah, Shrines and Cursed have both been chosen by No Tomorrow. I don't think that No Tomorrow are going to cheese. Call me crazy, but I don't think they will, unless they just want to test a strategy that they think may not be viable anymore once a patch comes in. But you know, we're just bringing in a couple of reworks and the triple ban, so maybe that maybe the strategies that they had will continue to be possible strategies that they bring out down the road versus closer matched matches.
I cannot wait until we see what our meta looks like next week. I mean, the impact of the tower changes and map changes are so drastic in competitive level of HGC that it has changed a lot. Something you and I talked about on the way home yesterday, and it was a matter of different heroes for different reasons. Now we're going to be adding a couple more bans. Like, our meta is going to have a pretty big shift, I think, in certain moments that will make it look entirely different. I got a feeling Greymane and Vala are going to be making a little bit of a comeback because some of the other heroes might not be there. Including
these, which have already been banned quite a lot in North America, Tracer and Genji. Tracer and Genji are interesting to me in this series because No Tomorrow has not played Tracer yet in Phase 2, and except when they had Talking Trees subbing for them in the very first match, Genji has not been played by HeroesHearth Esports. They have put Arthalon on Tracer, but Genji is something that McIntyre gets to flex to, and that's not this iteration of HeroesHearth. This is a HeroesHearth who comes in with a game plan and draft, and they, to quote Ishbu, we play what we're going to play until they don't let us play it anymore, or they make us pick something else.
Johanna is one of those heroes. I mean, we had mentioned smaller hero pools for tanks because what's the point in changing if what you're playing is working? It's been nothing but Johanna and Diablo for Ishbu, and it's been 7 games of Johanna, 3 games of Diablo. Johanna is very likely. We've seen the Blaze priority especially for McIntyre. If we're going to see something different, we'll see it here, and I think it might come in the form of potentially HeroesHearth prioritizing a Hanzo, maybe, as we've seen that kind of be the option unless they want to get the Jaina, if they hope to get that, if they don't pick it here.
Yeah, I feel like HeroesHearth are so okay with Diablo on this map, too, that they would be okay with leaving that up in favor of getting something like Blaze now that Urel's been taken, and McIntyre's shown a little bit more McIntyre favor, but if it ain't broke, there you have it.
Man, this is such a common rotation for them. The Johanna Blaze has had such sustain and playmaking. Again, Johanna right now is so tanky that she has a lot of chances to just continue to make plays. But it's more about when you get the condemn in and then having Blaze to be able to follow up as well with his own stuns, that's where you have the high impact heroes that we've seen behind them, which is one of the points I made at the start of the day. And now that we're at this series, Arthalon, a very good start. Obviously, he had a little bit of a vacation during his first weekend, but he comes back and plays 5 different heroes in one weekend in 2 series and comes out and averages 3.3 kills a game. It's a small sample size, but I can tell you from keeping track of Arthalon's stats for a while now, that is not typical of his playstyle.
6th in the world.
Yes, it's early, but this is a hero or player that I'm thinking we need more from him. Crowan averaged the highest amount of his team's deaths of anybody in North America, around 40%, and it stayed that way pretty consistently. Towards the end, it was like low 40s, and it was right around 40. That's highest of any player in the league. They needed more from Arthalon. So far, he's delivering. And his hero pool between Phoenix, Tracer, Greymane, Falstad, Thrall, those are heroes that can bring it. I want more of that from Arthalon.
You might get that here. You're going to get a Arthalon hero because he, in fact, does play for HeroesHearth Esports and is doing so in this series. But I think that Thrall could be a possibility. Is Phoenix likely too? So it means one of those two of getting some control over Garrosh. Putting some poke in too. I expect the Hanzo to now be picked 2 for Crowan, given that Garrosh pick, unless No Tomorrow bans him out.
Well, I don't think we've seen it just yet, but I would not put the hammer pick past them here, especially knowing that you have a Yrel and a Garrosh on the other side and a Jaina who's going to be desperate for poke. If we see the Malfurion ban, okay, they're going to ban Phoenix. The Malfurion could be picked up by HeroesHearth. Deckard's also going to be available. But if Jaina doesn't have a Malfurion for Innervate, it makes it more difficult to go into that poke build at level 1 to get the increased range on your Ice Bolt, or Frostbolt. So it does make it more difficult without it. HeroesHearth, if we see the Malfurion, maybe we're going to get a hammer with it. But Deckard does pair well with the hammer.
Yes, the Malf Deckard too is an interesting debate looking at these 2 teams, because whereas a lot of support players in North America, like June, have shown a lot of Deckard focus, these 2 supports are way more still on the Malfurion train. Both Akaface and BBJ, their most played hero is Malfurion. So we could see a rise in priority for Malfurion, whereas in a lot of other series, it's dropped off significantly.
Well, you said if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I got a feeling we're probably going to continue to see a lot more of it, unless No Tomorrow does ban it here. So we'll see. They could go hammer ban if they just want to make sure to take that out of the equation, whether it was actually going to be there or not. Yeah, I don't blame him. Like, we haven't seen it from HeroesHearth, but if it's there, I don't want it, man. Just no. Don't give me the hammer. You can probably expect the Hanzo though.
Not hammer, but arrows. My thought is what Arthalon is going to play here. Phoenix is gone. Could play Thrall if he wants to be a little more aggressive. There are some picks from him if he wants to have more of a macro focus, like his Falstad, if he just wants to have some disengage. His Junkrat, we haven't seen a whole lot of Junkrat in North America, but this is a battleground where we would see it.
Yeah, and you think of what you're dealing with on the front line. Jaina, you don't want to be in range of that burst damage. Garrosh, you definitely don't want to be in range of a Groundbreaker taunt. He comes to mind there. Greymane, if he does want to get more aggressive, you can get the Cursed Bullet for the percentage-based damage against Garrosh, but there are a lot of options. With Arthalon, we don't know what to expect, which he was the first and last person to play Azmodan. It was on this battleground at the start of the season. Won't be here, but next week, maybe.
If anyone is going to play it next week, he has my vote. He is one of the OG Azmodans back on the Tempo Storm days.
Well, we've got the Jaina. We need some sustained damage here. You've got a lot on the front line coming at you in the form of Blaze, Johanna, Thrall, and I'm trying to think of options. And right now, in a weird world, I'm kind of okay with Tassadar, but I think with this team, with No Tomorrow, they need some sustained damage. We've seen the Greymane from this team before. I don't know if it necessarily fits here, because the minute you go into Worgen form, you've got blinds, you've got stuns, you've got roots, and you've got a whole lot of slow going on there. And supports still have not been prioritized up until this point.
Yeah, not what I was expecting, given how much both of these supports like Malfurion. That is a tricky one for what Casanova's going to play. He's played some Vala, but not since that first week. They'll stick with the Greymane and then give Malfurion as the final pick for No Tomorrow.
Well, I think that Deckard is a clear pickup here. You have control over the front line. You get the slow on the Garrosh, which is troubling to deal with. You get potential follow-up roots with the scroll. Rhaegar, I think, is strong. It's something we've seen BBJ play before. It's been a long time since we've had that Lili, since Medivh hasn't been around. Yes, that happened multiple times.
Oh, I saw. When I came back from MSB and started really studying the rest of the NA teams, I was like, wait a second, this Lili Medivh thing was a thing for multiple teams, because I saw it from HeroesHearth when I was studying them for MSB, but oh, that goes beyond just HeroesHearth.
It's been a while since we've had some Medivh action, so Rhaegar, Deckard, clear favorite here. Just the control alone that he gives you on a map like this, it's way too hard to pass on.
Yeah, I think Jin has a lot of work to do as Garrosh now with that Deckard Kayn. Post 10, looking at slows from Blaze, Johanna control, Thrall control. I feel like Crowan is going to have a pretty easy time living. He has his own natural agility. Maybe, though, if the damage can come in, if they find the right damage in Jaina, then we'll see Casanova be able to go in and finish him off.
They have a lot of punch in that Jaina Greymane, and if they get the taunt, but again, the bunker potential, Iron Skin potential from Johanna Thrall coming in, that is a terrifying front line coming at you, and it's something that we've known HeroesHearth to play often, and execute extremely well in. So it's going to be difficult for No Tomorrow. Yes, every single one of these picks, it might not be BBJ's Malfurion, but he knows how to play a mean Deckard Kayn. Every one of these picks is exactly what HeroesHearth loves, what they've played a ton, what they feel comfortable on. It's a map they feel comfortable on. So it's up to No Tomorrow to try to throw a wrench in those plans. In the blue, it is HeroesHearth Esports. Crowan will be playing Hanzo. Deckard Kayn played by BBJ. McIntyre on Blaze. Arthlon playing Thrall. And Ishbu on Johanna. No Tomorrow says no to the Probius and Nazeebo this go-around, and it's a little bit more metas. We'll see Casanova on the Greymane. Thompson, of course, on that new role for him, back on that melee. He's going to be on the Realm. Jay Shrite on the Jaina. We'll see Jin on Garrosh, and Akaface, the new face to this team. He's going to be on the Malfurion.
Trying to provide the mana and cooldown reduction to Jaina, who is moving back into not stacking up globes for Fingers of Frost, but having Winter's Reach with increased range on her Frostbolt, so she can try to hit those backliners, possibly, or at least the front line without being too far forward.
Yeah, again, I don't think you can go this. I guess without the Malfurion, yes, you can go Arcane Intellect on this map, and that will give you some mana sustain, but I think the Malfurion definitely enables this a little bit more than talent choices alone.
Still a Scatter Arrow build for Hanzo, despite being versus a Garrosh. The reduction in his basic attack range is enough for this to be the norm, no matter what. And with the accuracy of Crowan, the comfort on this hero, and the constant poke damage that you can have with this Scatter Arrow build around the control points, that's going to be doing work for No Tomorrow, and especially for Akaface trying to keep people healed through that.
It's definitely going to be a lot. The good news is Moonfire does heal based on Heroes hit, and they will be clumped up, so some of those moments you'll have greater healing than others. It's Jay Shrite continuing to get the poke down.
Seeing Greymane rotate up to the top lane, keeping Jin, Akaface, and Jay Shrita together gives you some kill potential with this tri-lane. And Greymane can just play it pretty safe and clear out the minions as they start to come in. Has the good clear when he's in Worgen form especially, though the cocktails also can work on that. But for No Tomorrow, it's all about trying to see if they can get a pick from this. To force out the Iron Skin so that Ishbu can back out.
I mean, the combo's there, the communication is there, but against the Blaze and a Johanna, it will be tough. Potentially when they get grouped up, the Thrall might be a little bit more of a priority target, especially once you get taunt post level 10.
Yeah, no cleanse to bail him out of that stun lock. It'll just be about him trying to use all that self-sustain to keep himself alive, which he will have a lot of, as he's going into the very standard tanky Thrall build.
No Arcane Intellect, which means that you will be strictly reliant on the Malfurion, who did not go the Innervate cooldown at level 1, so the sustain in team fights, that means a lot of the other heroes, they don't normally have mana issues, but it is definitely something that Jaina will be heavily babysat in the mana department by the Malfurion.
The beeping signifies that the control point activation is now available. No Tomorrow picks up the quick start on it. And we're seeing Deckard Cain there. Not necessarily the person you want to stay on that point long term.
It's fine. Thompson with a knockback. Some roots going down. Gonna force him to take a little bit of a detour. Nice knock up there by Jin in return, but control point seems to be in control now by HeroesHearth, and they do take over here.
Yeah, while No Tomorrow has Greymane in the top, they can feel pretty comfortable in their ability to stay on this point. Greymane's clearing out that assault camp so that he can come back down. But No Tomorrow are just fine with that, given the fact that they had the earlier channel and have 33%. Plenty of time to get back in.
Oh, big stun and condemn for the follow-up. Shrite eating a lot of damage into the fray. Maybe not the one you wanted to toss in, because that basically helped confirm the kill there.
And it did.
I say into the fray because
that's where McIntyre wanted to be. Yeah. Ran into the fray. McIntyre, if he had gone down, that would have been okay for No Tomorrow, because then they could have traded out kills. But unfortunately, they didn't get that. And now No Tomorrow, faced without their Jaina, has to let more of this channel go through. They tap back up. They want to stop this, but Jin doesn't get to the point in time, and now that's a protector for HeroesHearth.
They do have level 7, which means that Jaina can get that consistent poke. Once they are chilled, it allows you to continue to poke. That's why you actually saw a nice little jump out there by the protector, kind of dodge some of that damage. Doesn't want to deal with any of that. Jaina will need to rotate up. Does do some of the best damage here. Greymane can do a lot, but I think you got to be careful in terms of engaging into this, because that protector can put out some serious hero damage if you get locked down, even for a moment. There's one of those moments.
Pace in.
Like I said.
Point. Look at that root. Max coming in. Casanova. Good night.
I mean, you can't hop into Worgen form against the protector is a beast. It is an absolute. That's why Jaina needs to be the one. Jaina has the level 7 cooldown on your Q. That way you can continue to poke and poke and poke. Committing to Worgen form against the protector it's a tough decision, but they paid for it. They'll get a trade, it looks like, here. Iron Skin, though, is it going to be enough? Shrite has to land one more. It's actually going to miss.
Oh, man.
Might still get it, though.
Some out of that. Toms are still going. That's it.
Ooh.
The tower. Tower gets it now, though. Pyromania, McIntyre in a position to get these body blocks. The angle hitting for Deckard Cain, BBJ. But it's Yrel. She's able to get out. But with a lot of kills, the fort down, HeroesHearth Esports finds themselves in a good position for Volskaya Foundry. And that's a Sunda.
Sunda! I'm excited. Could you tell?
I didn't know what that sort of sing-songy
thunder was. I have
was.
No idea where it came from. And if you tell anybody it happened, I'm going to call you a liar.
Okay. Nobody will ever believe me anyway, I think.
Yeah, because there's no documentation.
There is no recording of you singing that. What I want you to do is in a play-by-play, the Sunda!
So you do it so much better. There's the Dragon's Arrow. Trying to make a play as stun happens, root follow-up, no damage, not able to keep him locked down. Had they been able to get the initial stun, we would have seen a bunker go down for the body blocks to keep him from going through that gate. Axe is both a place to hide, place to get armor, place to dodge heroics, place to body block similarly to a force wall. There's really nothing that bunker doesn't do.
HeroesHearth are softening up a lot of these lanes. Just setting up for any possibility of what they want to do. Having that fort down in the top lane, if they get the next control point and the protector, they could bring it down to that bottom lane, which just sets up for the next control point. Always looking forward, always setting up for a win for that third control point. The protector there, possibly having the 20 ahead of your opponents to just close out the game. It's all calculation for HeroesHearth, and No Tomorrow, they gotta do some math. They gotta throw in a different number somewhere to disrupt that.
It's textbook. I can't see HeroesHearth not just executing this. Jen and team, they're obviously gonna get there. McIntyre gonna go ahead and jet propulsion out. Again, this is the moment where I say, when is it best to do nothing? And McIntyre will show you that it is best to just stay mounted, do nothing, and get away with the greatest of ease. If he's not mounted there, it might be a little bit tougher evac process.
And this is one of those situations where No Tomorrow have shown, they've exhibited versus other teams that they have good punishment when somebody overcommits from the other team. HeroesHearth are not showing that. That is not their thing. They move forward. They don't land the Blessed Shield, but they're still going to have 13 for this control point. So it's on No Tomorrow to make something happen. They have to set themselves up for success rather than wait for a mistake from HeroesHearth to be punished. And it's hard on Volskaya Foundry to do that. There's just not a lot of ways to be able to do that.
Looks like they're going to respond to the push in that bot lane as opposed to counter push because they realize 13, there's enough time for No Tomorrow to get 13 via structures if they do give up that fort that No Tomorrow could contest on even talent tier. So sometimes it's better to push. This time I think it's much better to defend. They're making that call to keep No Tomorrow away from 13. And with that Sonic Arrow out, they see No Tomorrow coming. They're leaving that alone. McIntyre, Curse Bullet, Bunker goes down. Jen gets the unstoppable, but hopping right outside of the bunker is going to be McIntyre. Pretty easy evasion there.
Yeah, you heard Cursed Bullet. The Water Elemental is also a shorter cooldown designed to slow the team, or slow McIntyre enough so the team could get in position, but with that bunker, Jin was maybe in a spot where you could try to taunt him out of it, but it was a very well-positioned bunker. McIntyre willing to back out a little bit more, not being hasty with that at all. HeroesHearth do not feel threatened this game. It is evident from what we've seen so far in their play.
Curious, they're going to go ahead and swap out the gunner, but I think they can double fort off this. I think they can take mid fort and easily rotate to the bottom one.
Seeing a lot more commitment from No Tomorrow in defending versus this particular protector. I'm trying to avoid that laser beam because when it explodes, it hits hard. One fort down. HeroesHearth have plenty of health left to move down and timing left to get the rest of this fort.
Well, timing is the name of the game. If you actually are just watching the bot lane in that situation, HeroesHearth is timing that minion wave to get as much out of it as they can.
And they're timing something else too. Look at Arthlon.
Here comes the Sunder. They don't have minions. They have the turret down to eat fort shots, but we might get that big Sunder.
That was well done by No Tomorrow. They'd force back the protector quite a lot. 5 seconds left as they go through one more time. The root wasn't put on the fort, was attempting to root someone down. Not getting anybody, not getting anything from that. And you're all pushing back through all. They're just gonna go to the top lane and they don't get that fort. They had quite a healthy protector left as they brought it down to the bottom lane, but the response from No Tomorrow was really good. This is a place where they would ideally like to get a fight, and HeroesHearth respected that.
Well, there's HeroesHearth recognizing what's the point in pushing out the lane? You're not gaining anything. You're not giving up anything. So just let it go. They do have 16. Here's going to be the toss, the taunt, the Cursed Bullet is there, but here comes the Sunder.
Here comes everything. Blessed Shield, Dragon's Arrow, the Sunder. Now Decker Kane locking down. Akaface falls too. Double kill. Tomster would be next as Crowan chases him down in the front. Not often where you would see a Hanzo, but he is feeling good about that one. Getting the triple kill and stealing away the camp.
Look at everything that they're doing right now. They're using Johanna for the wave clear to prep that wave while the rest of the team grabs this camp. And look, they are almost in unison as they come forward here. They use the turret, which gives you a bit of damage. It also eats the tower shots. They are making every minor detail of this look so easy. And now they have an entire minion wave. They have the turret that did some damage. They have a camp behind this. This does not happen for most teams. That shouldn't have happened, but that is a death on Jaina. And now this keep is a foregone conclusion because of the execution of HeroesHearth. It is just so fun to watch, to see a team execute this flawlessly.
Yeah, that was Scroll of Stone Curse getting some value. Now Blessed Shield will offer up more. A second kill, taking out Ural for 33 seconds. HeroesHearth looks for a quick end to this game, getting a Dragon's Arrow. HeroesHearth have talked about trying to get the little synergies down, and I feel like this has been such a show in how they have been doing that. Not only in the team fights, not only off of things like comboing 1, 2, 3 to get the lockdown there, but even in doing what they need to do to close out this game, get the macro game going, the lane pushed. HeroesHearth looks good.
I cannot stress enough how well HeroesHearth executed the last 30 seconds, the last minute. That is beautiful play from the highest of highs. That right there, it's not that they did it. It's always going to be the timing of which they do things. They prepped that bottom lane so that they could push in the bottom with the protector. They timed the minions. They timed the minions there with that. It's not like, oh, well, we'll all go here. Oh, you should go back over here. It is literally like, I'm here, you're there. They already know what they want to do. That is the signs of a great team that does not require extra 2 to 3 seconds of communication. It is known, it is practiced, and it is familiar. And that just creates such a positive environment to make plays. That should be keep wall, keep, not game. Everything beyond that was a bonus, but that was so good.
It was excellently done, both in the bottom and the top, everywhere. Now, my question is just, how does it look when they don't have 5 heroes that they're more comfortable than pretty much anyone on anyone else? Because by now, we have seen them on all of those heroes many times, be able to get them. Johanna Blaze, I want to see what happens when they're not on those heroes.
You mean next week when there's 2 bans?
Yeah.
3 bans technically, but 2 in the beginning. Yeah. Because maybe you can deny the Johanna and the Hanzo, something of that nature, because it's still a victory. That's how good that victory was. We get another victory screen, but it will look different next week. But for now, what do you ban out? What can you possibly do to take that type of control away from this team?
You know, I think part of it is going to be taking away the heroes and playing them themselves, because it feels like No Tomorrow got a lot of what they would have liked normally. But, you know, it's as much... We're going to take a look at Cheers, but it's as much for them to show that they could play some of these other heroes. But I feel like if no one's going to make them play anything differently, then I guess they don't necessarily even need to do that. We're going to take a